Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk Minnesota Timberwolves. They just got a really impressive victory last night against the Denver Nuggets, and whether it happens this year, they're probably going to make the play-in tournament, unfortunately, because the Denver Nuggets have 40 games left as well, just like Minnesota. Minnesota's got a pretty easy schedule: Houston, Washington, Spurs, and Chicago. The issue is the Denver Nuggets are 2 games ahead, and they get to play the Los Angeles shit show Lakers twice. 2 out of their remaining 4 games are against the Lakers. So, the Timberwolves right now, either way, no matter how this season ends, even if you were to lose right away in the play-in tournament, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think Minnesota's going to be able to advance. 44-34 at the current point. I mean, you have a top 10 offense, number 7th best offense since the All-Star break, or since 2022 actually. So it's been like 3 months, and then you have a top 15, number 13th ranked defense. So Minnesota is 100% on the right track, and I think people are finally starting to kind of figure that out. So welcome back to the channel, man. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button for daily NBA videos. I post a lot of Timberwolves content, and let's try and hit 136 likes for the 136 points they put on the Denver Nuggets last night. But I think overall, grand scheme of things, last night showed me, it just kind of like reinforced my idea of Minnesota, where they're going to be a threat, man. And they kind of are a threat right now. This is a very hot basketball team. They have, kind of gotten a little bit less hot, I guess, since that win streak. But still, you got to give this team a lot of respect, especially last night. You're going up against Jokic. Karl-Anthony Towns went right head-to-head to him, and there's just a lot of things to be excited about. I mean, first off, Anthony Edwards. I mean, the man suffered for like 3 quarters, didn't miss a single shot in the 4th quarter, finishes 18, 8, and 7. Anthony Edwards is well on his way to becoming a star in the NBA, if you didn't know that already. I mean, last season, second half of the season last year, the man absolutely went off. And so he's just another young piece that they have. I'll use Jared Vanderbilt as another example they have this interesting blend of, you've got your veteran in there, you got Patrick Beverley, but then you have kind of proven stars who are still on the very younger side. Like D'Lo's only 25 or 26 years old. You got D'Lo, Karl-Anthony Towns. And then you have Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt making out the rest of it. And these are guys who have been in the league just for a couple of seasons. And even like a guy like Jared Vanderbilt, this is a guy who is very versatile on the defensive end. Offensively, once he gets going, I would imagine, honestly, that probably happens next year, he's going to be a phenomenal two-way threat in the NBA. Minnesota also one of the deepest benches in the entire NBA. You got guys like Taurean Prince, who gave you 16 points last night. Naz Reid, another nice young piece who's been in the league for just a little bit. McLaughlin, you got Malik Beasley. You do have Jalen Noel, who didn't play last night. You do have McDaniels as well. So there's a lot of young talent, and then you have kind of this interesting blend of like Beverly, Taurean Prince, like kind of veterans, but not like old, like you're on the Lakers and you're just like in your last season. So Minnesota, the best part, one of the coolest things actually to me about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we didn't see this last night, but you'll see this in the play-in tournament, you'll see this in the playoffs, hopefully when they get that 7 seed in play. I think they'll honestly get the 7 seed. They'll take down the Clippers in the first game of the play-in. I don't think they'll have to play 2 games, and I think they'll play Memphis. And so if you get Minnesota in, or even just in the play-in tournament, but if you see them in a 7-game series, even if Minnesota doesn't take down the Memphis Grizzlies, a team who has won 7 straight, and they're just red hot. They're literally 19, I think it's 19-2 without Ja Morant on the season. I've never seen a stat like that, by the way. That is an unbelievable stat. But Minnesota's going to steal a couple of games. They're going to steal at least 2 games. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it go to 7. The atmosphere and energy in the Target Center is unreal. It gets so loud in there from start to finish. Minnesota Timberwolves fans, they're very passionate. And this is a very young, gunning team. So don't discredit that 6-man there in the playoffs, because Minnesota has been playing pretty much playoff type games. Like last night, had 100% the feel. I know it was in Denver, but it had the feel of a playoff game. And so Minnesota taking down good teams, playing up to their competition, that's exactly what you want to see. I know Denver's only one spot ahead of them in the Western Conference, but Minnesota, I would still say most people would be surprised with the fact that they're 44-34 right now. Timberwolves fans, they know they got something special, and they know that it's just going to take a little bit of time. One of the things I talk about a lot whenever I discuss the Timberwolves is you have a really nice starting five, so I don't really think they're going to mess with that starting five, especially like this next season. But let's just say you had a player like Aaron Gordon. I know Aaron Gordon, it's not like we're talking like a superstar here, but you bring another star to Minnesota, particularly I'm talking a more defensive star. Nothing wrong with being middle of the pack defensively, a little bit better than middle of the pack defensively at number 13th on the season. But if you bring such a lethal defensive player like Aaron Gordon, they'd be a top 10 defense. And Aaron Gordon's also going to give you like 15 a night offensively. So we'll see what Minnesota decides to do in the offseason. I don't think that they're going to go target a player like Aaron, definitely not Aaron Gordon specifically. I don't even know if they're necessarily going to target a player like that, because the potential is being flashed every single night. Even with guys like Malik Beasley, Jordan McLaughlin, like the bench is producing. The bench has been producing all season. They're literally one of, if not the most deep and best benches in the entire NBA. So I think this offseason is going to be probably a little bit more on the quiet side for Minnesota. This is something that I'm obviously not 100% sure, but I would imagine they're going to just kind of maybe fill in specific holes. Minnesota, to me, is more of a grand scheme type of thing. It's more of how are they going to be next season? How are they going to be 2 seasons from now? Because as Cat, as D'Lo, as they continue to develop, and then you have the development of guys like Anthony Edwards, I don't think you can place a ceiling on. You can't even really place a floor on this team, except for, I guess maybe the floor would be a playoff team. So that's a really good floor. Guys like Patrick Beverley establishing this culture in Minnesota, it's huge. He's got that no-nonsense, no BS attitude. He's always chirpy. He's always chippy. He's grinding. He's going to fall for any loose ball. He's the emotional leader. And so having a veteran like Patrick Beverley, 6 steals last night, I mean, obviously he's providing his worth and his value. Some nights he'll drop like 20, but having a player like Patrick Beverley in the play-in tournament is going to be huge, and having a guy like Patrick Beverley in just the playoffs in general in a 7-game series is going to be huge. So this is a guy who should probably make all defensive first team, probably will, and he's just another piece that Minnesota's got right now. So what an underrated pickup that they had, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button, hit that sub button for more Timberwolves content, and drop some comments down below. Where do you think Minnesota ends up in the regular season, or I guess at the end of the regular season? What seed do you think they'll be come playoff time, and can they take down the Memphis Grizzlies?